Welcome, everybody. It is that time again. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
It's that time again where we gather around the Holler Goblin guys and tell spooky stories. Um,
Hey,
we
Harry.
haven't ever done a Saturday night before. This is going to be weird.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah. All right, we give everybody a little bit of time to get in here, and then we'll do all the advertising and whatnot. How's
Yeah.
everybody doing?
I think I was here before Harry was. For once.
You beat Harry. Awesome.
I beat Harry. I thought it was impossible.
That's pretty funny. Oh, Harry, yeah. Um, we weren't sure if we were gonna do tonight because I don't know like what it's like on here on Saturdays. And then like after last night, we're kind of like, well, should we just go back to Sunday? But we're gonna give it a try at least for a little bit tonight and see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay. Uh, you made it early tonight. Awesome. Glad to see you. All right, guys. I don't know what to expect as far as numbers go, but we got a few people in here. So it may be slow tonight. I have no idea. So, you guys go ahead and start tapping the screen. Get us into the algorithm so that we get some people in here. More hearts means more people, means more ghost stories. Um, Tap, 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 everybody. Let's get the numbers up so that we can get some people. So, if you're new here, we usually gather around the Holler Goblin. This is the Holler Goblin on Sunday and Monday nights. But this week we did a marathon, except for Friday night. We did a Discord. So we just did our live stream over there for Discord members. But so we just tell spooky stories. So paranormal stories, extraterrestrial stories, cryptid stories, unexplained to general, and glitch in the matrix stories. So if you have any stories like that that you want to share, feel free to come into the guest box, come up, tell us your story. We want to hear your spookiest spooky story. We do ask that you watch your language here and follow all TikTok guidelines. And you do have to be at least 18 years of age and have at least 200 followers to go live. So if you fit those descriptions, those categories, if you will, I guess, hop in the box, come up and tell us a story.
And don't be driving.
Um, and yeah, absolutely no driving. We have a no driving rule here. You will get yeeted immediately. Um, Everybody spam the comments with Bigfoot and Mothman. Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, I'm ready. I'm ready to hear some stories. I'm gonna spam my little message.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Super Mario.
So what's up, Chris? What are you doing?
Oh, just here. I'm ready tonight. I'm ready to listen to some stories and you know chill out.
Hopefully we get some good ones tonight. We had a pretty good week. Had all kinds of crazy stories, lots of Ouija board stories and haunted house stories and all kinds of good
Yeah.
stuff. Alien stories. What kind of night you think it'll be?
Well, if it gets going, um, I don't know. Honestly, who knows?
Yeah.
It varies. It varies around here.
Well, yeah, and it also has a lot to do with I think like the first few stories, like whatever we're talking about. Oh, 211 Paranormal, feel free to hop in the box and come up and tell us about it if you want. Um, Yeah, you never know, I guess. But hopefully, I'm not really in the mood for anything particular. I would still like to hear more Ouija board stories. Those are interesting. But, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Werewolf, yeah, it would be cool. We don't really get a lot of werewolfy stories unless they come from Werewolf himself. And then they're not about werewolves. But incidentally, um, let's see here. All right, guys, guest box is open. If anybody wants to come up and share a story.
We're open for business.
Yeah, it may be an early night. If it's going to be super slow, we may just like not stick around too long, but we'll see. We'll play it by ear and see what happens.
We'll see.
Hello, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Got a spooky story?
I got quite a few of them, actually. I mean, if you guys got time, I don't want to take up all the time, of course, but with the last ones that I told, I figured I'd get on and share a couple more of them with you. What would you guys like to hear? My Ouija board story or the Skinwalkers?
Let's hear the Ouija board story.
Perfect. Well, of course, when everybody's a teenager, right? They want to play with a Ouija board. I consequently was one of those people that wanted to play with a Ouija board. Bad idea. Kids, don't play with Ouija boards. I was living in a house that I grew up in, probably from the time that I was like 7, 8 years old until I was in my early 30s. I bet I was probably around 16, 17 years old, and we decided to mess around with a Ouija board in the basement. Of course, the obligatory basement, right? Anyway, we got to playing around with it, and we didn't know what we were doing. We had no clue what was going on. Well, about 15, 20 minutes into it, the air, like all around us, just got super cold all of a sudden. Like, cold enough that you could just barely start to see your breath. We thought it was weird, but we didn't think nothing of it because basement, right? Unfinished basement, cement walls, open studded walls, the whole nines. So we just chalked it up as that. Well, probably about 45 minutes into it, the cold went away. All the lights shut off at the exact same time. The planchette flew off the board, and the board shot across the room in the opposite direction.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we had no clue. We had no clue what was going on. It scared the daylights out of us. And I have to admit that's when I decided that would be my first trips into studying the paranormal and things like that, because it scared me to death, and B, I was so scared I was intrigued by it.
Yeah, I think I'd be scared but intrigued as well.
Because,
Yeah.
I think Sarah would be too.
Yeah,
right,
for
I
sure.
think anybody would.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy though.
Thank you, Peggy and Holly. Yeah, that is. So, is that like the only Ouija board experience that you had, or like did anything else come of that? Because a lot of people say that one experience kind of leads to others. So, did it cause any more activity?
Oh, it caused a lot more activity. I'm fairly convinced that it opened up not only that area that we used the board in, but it opened up everybody involved with it to almost be like an open tract to having those heightened senses of being able to, feel and understand and be connected with everything that's on the other side.
Right.
That left me to having bad experiences with mirrors. I honestly believe that mirrors are just a gateway to something that's not what we know as reality.
Yeah, I've heard that about mirrors before. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of superstitions and stuff about them. So, like, what kind of
hmm.
experiences are we talking about here with mirrors? Do you have any ghost
Um,
stories involving?
yeah, I actually do. Um, One instance, I had my reflection yell at me once,
Hmm.
just straight up. Like I couldn't hear anything, but I could see every motion that was going on, and it was so defined and so definitive that I could see it. Now, everybody here's heard of scrying, right? You know what scrying is?
Yeah.
It was That's really the biggest thing that I could think of how to describe what happened is I unknowingly started a scrying session without knowing what scrying was because I had a couple of candles set up right around the mirror area, not directly in front of it, but around it so I, could use some ambient light. And I just started talking to myself in the mirror. And I was kind of playing around with it and I started getting a little derogatory, if you will. And that's when I noticed my reflection wasn't my reflection anymore. It's almost like it had shifted into somebody else, but it was still me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, people in the comments were wanting to know if you wanted to tell your other story as well, the one about the skinwalker.
Oh, the Skinwalker story, yeah. Um, I
Thank you,
actually got
Holly.
I actually got a couple of them. This one came from my mom personally. She used to be a cab driver, and I don't know if you guys know about the Uinta Basin over in Utah,
No.
like with Skinwalker Ranch and those places.
Yeah, I am familiar with Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
Okay, I live about a half an hour from there, and I'm here to tell you when they say that there's weird stuff going on in the Uinta Basin, there's weird stuff going on in the Uinta Basin. But my mom was a cab driver at the time, and she was doing her cab stuff over there around the Roosevelt area. Well, there's this old shut down bar that's called the Hilltop, and like the name implies, it's set on a hilltop. Well, in between that bar, there's like a I want to say that it's a shed, but it's more like a garage. Well, she was stopped there waiting for another call, so she didn't have to come all the way back to where we live without a fare. Well, she's sitting there and she notices something moving in between those two buildings. And how she described it to me was it looked like a really emaciated coyote. like real skinny, thin, just real wiry. But from its back to the ground, she said it stood about 8 feet tall. And as it was moving in between the two buildings, it stopped in between the two buildings, turned around and looked at her. And the eyes, she said the eyes glue such a piercing red color that she didn't stay. She left before she seen where this thing had went. It scared her so bad that she started her cab and rolled out of there just as soon as she seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I seen something similar. I used to drive truck, like a water truck
Yeah.
down south, just below where Skinwalker Ranch is. Um, and when you're hauling water, you got to go and pick it up from a oil location and take it out to what they call a disposal plant. Well, this plant is probably 6 miles south of where the ranch is. So I had to drive back and forth at night every night that I was on shift. Well, knowing where you're at, doing it at night, just adds that creep factor, on top of what you already got. Well, the company that I was driving for, they limited all of our speed limits to I think it was like 20 mile an hour on dirt roads. You couldn't drive any faster than that. And I was in between the ranch and where I was supposed to be going with my load of water. And I caught something out of the corner of my eye over on the passenger side of the road up against the fence. And I thought it was just a cow at first. And it dawned on me, cows aren't traveling next to my rig at 20 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And the only way that I could describe what this thing looked like is your bog beast thing on your wallpaper, on your background. That's what this thing looked like.
Really?
And instead of having just those deep, dark, hollow eye sockets, its eyes were bright white, almost like a welding arc, white, bright. And it turned and looked at me, ran up just to give enough room, and shot straight across the road right in front of my truck. And it had darted in front of me so fast that I actually had to lock up my brakes to stop my truck because I was afraid of hitting it. And no sooner than it got to the other side of the road, it disappeared.
And how tall did you say this thing was?
The one that I seen, and I couldn't tell you if it was running on two legs or if it was on four legs, but the one that I seen had to have been at least 6 foot because I could see it through the passenger window of my rig. So it had to have been at least that tall, or else I wouldn't have been able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
And just from my experience with dealing with something like that, everything after that was just it was cold. And I seen this in the middle of summertime when it's still like 70 degrees outside. And it was cold for the rest of the night after that. I'm talking like it felt like it was 50 degrees.
Right.
I know a lot of people say that when you have that lingering cold that hangs on to you, you've contracted an attachment from whatever it is that you came across. And I honestly believe that, some part of that did attach itself and attract itself to me because I was just super agitated like for a week after that, and I didn't know why. I was real agitated. I was nervous, anxious about everything. I was mad at times for like a week after, and it spooked me really bad.
Yeah, I'm sure that that's something that kind of sticks with you, and I'm not entirely sure how I would feel after an encounter like that.
Yeah, the manager that was running the disposal unit that I went to, I told them about it, and they wouldn't let me leave for like an hour. They
Very
said
cool.
we'd feel a lot better if you just hung out for like an hour, and let things calm down. And I'm notorious for whistling little tunes and stuff like that, and they flat out told me to stop. That I wouldn't be allowed back out there if I kept whistling while I was doing my work.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us. That is very frightening. Must have
Yeah,
been
yeah,
a terrifying encounter for sure.
it was spooky nonetheless. I won't go back out there alone.
Yeah, I
That,
wouldn't either.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, hopefully you hang out with us tonight and listen to some stories. We appreciate you.
yeah, for sure. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, guys, tap the screen. Everybody tap, 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 tap. We got to get onto the FYP. It is a Saturday. We don't know how the stream's going to do on a Saturday night. It may be incredibly slow. If it's really slow, we might call it early. I'm hoping that Tully gets over here soon and can get on panel with us because I know he's got all kinds of like wild stories and
Yeah.
things to talk about. So let's get the number up and just spam the chat with emojis and comments and whatever you can, and let's get out there and get some people. Draw in some people with spooky stories. I don't know if the spooky crowd is on TikTok live this time and not on a weekend, but we're gonna find out. So if you're new here, what we do is we gather around the holler goblin and we tell scary stories. So if you have a paranormal story, extraterrestrial story, cryptid story, unexplained in general, or glitch in the matrix story, we want to hear it. We want to hear your spookiest spooky stories. So come up here and share it with us. Let us know what keeps you awake in the middle of the night, something you can't stop thinking about, something that you never figured out. It doesn't even have to be paranormal, of course, it could just be something terrifying. We do ask that you are mindful of your language and follow TikTok guidelines here. And other than that, come on up. Guest box is wide open.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah, don't be nervous. Some people get nervous. It's okay to be nervous, but um, let's see. We need to manifest Tully to get on here and tell us some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna bother him on the Discord.
Do it. He's on. He's on the Discord right now. He's online. So send him a
Oh,
message or something.
really?
He sure is.
He's avoiding us.
He's hiding out. This would be an easy night for him to kind of dip his toes in the water because our
Yeah.
numbers are very low tonight. It's going to be a very slow night, I think. Hopefully
Oh, there's
not. The
Cecil.
more, yeah, see Cecil. Cecil, come up, hang out with us if you want.
See
Um,
Cecil.
let's see. All right.
Surely somebody has a story out of the 81 people watching.
Ooh, Lisa's got kind of a weird encounter.
Um,
Oh wow, Lisa, that's really creepy.
huh.
Hey Ollie.
Ollie. It feels extra quiet
Thank
tonight.
you. I know it does. It's not as wild and
Why?
crazy in here.
Yeah. I don't know why
Cause
though. It's not like we have music playing usually or anything.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe we should.
What's happening, Ollie? We're doing our first Saturday show. And it's very slow right now, but you guys keep tapping. It's up to you. Get us out there on the FYP and we might have a busy night. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we're just kind of hanging out and waiting for some people to come through with some spooky stories. We're
Yes.
trying to get Cecil and Tully up here on the panel because they don't ever get a chance to go live with us through the week. So hopefully they can come up tonight.
Yeah, it'd be a good night for them to come up
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
sure would.
We're gonna have to start playing some elevator music.
Yeah. Okay, Cecil.
All right.
We'll be watching for you. So, did anybody get to see the Northern Lights this weekend? Because I've looked and looked and I haven't got to see anything, but I know a lot of people posted in the Discord. They got, some pictures and stuff, but I didn't get to
Yeah.
see anything.
Yeah. No, I wish I could see it. But we got some pictures of it in the Discord.
Yeah, got some cool pictures of it. I saw a lot of really cool pictures on various websites and stuff. Apparently, a lot of people are getting to see it like around Kentucky and stuff. This one drone page I follow, they had some really good pictures of it, but so far nothing here. Yeah, Arizona was. There were some videos I saw here on TikTok where people in Arizona got to see it. They claim it'll be tonight. Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Is it? Is that L or Ellie? It's L, right?
L, I think. Yeah.
L. Yeah. Do you have any stories, L? Because I see that you're able to come up.
Can't see it yet. Yeah. Well, hopefully we all get to see it eventually at some point. But all right, guys. Guest box is open. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Get some people in here. More hearts means more people means more ghost stories. Feel free to spam the chat with emojis and throw some Bigfoot out there. I'm gonna drop a few Bigfoot real quick. If you're a subscriber, you got the Bigfoot emojis. Throw him out. Let's get Squatchy in here tonight, guys. Super Squatchy. Oh yeah, and Mothman. I like Mothman a lot. Um, yeah, it is crazy that Kentuckians are getting to see it. Oh, I saw that, Holly. Thank you so much. I didn't know if you heard me earlier, but yeah, I appreciate that. Now you can throw out the Mothman. Also, we have like a lizard person. I always forget about the lizard dude. Let's do him real quick.
Yeah, he's cool.
Guest box is open, guys. If you got a spooky story, we want to hear your spookiest spooky story. We talk about paranormal things, extraterrestrial, cryptid, unexplained, glitch in the matrix. We do it all any type of spooky stuff, come up and tell us about it. We want to hear your scariest story, the strangest, most frightening thing that's ever happened to you. That's the story we want to hear.
Yes, we need some stories. We don't want to leave early.
Yeah, it always takes a little while to get, into the algorithm too, anyway. So it might turn out to be a busy night, even though it's starting off kind of slow.
Yeah, hopefully.
Ollie.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I believe this is Cecil, I think, on his
Oh, it's
girlfriend's account
Cecil.
or his
Yeah.
wife's account. Hello.
Hello, I figured I'd hop on here since you all said my name.
Yeah, we were hoping you might have some crazy wild stories for us.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I do. Just the one that I've always told, and Tully said he'd be on here whenever his significant other goes to bed, by the way.
Okay.
Um, I've got the one, you both heard it before, but we got, how many people you got right now? 70, 80?
Yeah,
So
we're a
one of
little
these,
low tonight, but
it's a fresh start though. You guys never go live on Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, But I've told both of you guys this story before, and I kind of like if anybody has any idea what it is, I hate to repeat it, but I still like to have somebody chime in on what they think it is. So when I was about 14 or 15 years old, we used to ride, you know, four-wheelers in the woods a lot, like cutting trails and stuff. And we would go really far back into woods, like miles into the National Daniel Boone National Forest. And one time we was riding around and we came across a piece of ground that was about a 12 by like a 12-foot circumference circle with nothing was growing in it. And all around the circle were rocks stacked about 3 tiers high in little pyramid shapes. So my natural curiosity, I wanted to go and walk in it. And while I walked in it, the sound in the area changed to me. And I spoke to the guy that was with me not long ago because I thought all these years that maybe I made it up or something. I asked him if he remembered it, and he said he did. He said when I walked in, the sound changed. To me, it felt like static, electricity. So we kind of got spooked and we just left. But a couple days later, we were wanting to go back and find it again. We never found that again, but we did come across a cabin. Now, this cabin was looked kind of like a makeshift cabin in a way, ran down real bad, like you could see through the cracks in the walls. And there was like smoke coming out. So I wanted to walk up and see who was in there because you got to think we were probably 3 or 4 miles into the middle of nowhere. And I walked up on the porch and I was getting ready to open the door essentially. And my friend like yelled out at me, um, said some choice words I can't say on here. But I looked around and he was pointing down at the ground, and all around this cabin were the exact same rock formations that were around that circle. And we left based off that. But I never knew what that could have been. So if anybody in the comments knows what that might have been, let us know because I'm on the search of what that could have been. I have been for a long time.
I bet that Ali has an answer for that actually. Ali, are you still here?
Yeah, he might know.
Um, yeah, because he's really good about like the Fey folk and stuff like that, and it's kind of what it sounds like a little bit. Um, but I don't know if he's still here with us right now or not. Um,
The activities I was in as a kid, like the older I got, I was like, did I make that up? Like, but then I got
So,
confirmation when I spoke with my friend that used to go riding with me not too long ago. He's like, no, that happened. I was like, oh, okay.
so that's the only experience you've ever had, Cecil?
I mean, just slight things like Um, I told you all about the Walmart that tripped me out in Virginia last night.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's an
but
interesting one.
well, I don't know what that was. My wife don't think it was anything, but we basically just took a day trip to Virginia. We were driving down a little two-lane road, and on the side of a hill, it looked like there shouldn't have been anything there, but there was a super Walmart. When we pulled into the parking lot, there was hardly any cars whatsoever in the parking lot, and when we went in, there was hardly anybody there, and that was around 2 o'clock in the day. It was on a Sunday. What? She's awake. Hang on. Never mind, it was a Saturday. um, but we was walking around and we just kept running into the same people over and over. But by the time we left, it had filled up, and I kind of thought that was like the Matrix trying to catch up with us. Like it wasn't supposed to be there, but we kind of just showed up. Um, I also had a little experience with my nephew. This was between London, Kentucky, and Somerset, Kentucky, on the Cumberland Falls Parkway, and we were just riding around, and I told him, and so we seen a little side road, and we was like, let's see where this goes, because we like to get lost sometimes and just ride around. So we drove down the road, and we came to a stop. We like just kept going right. We turned right one time, and then we came to another stop sign, and we turned right again. But we came out on the same road we went into, but there wasn't two roads, it was just one road. And I still don't understand how we did a circle when we only turned twice. That doesn't make sense. My nephew, who's 10 years old, said it was a glitch in the Matrix, but I don't know much more about that. but if
Oh,
anybody's but if anybody's got anything about the first one, I'd love to know anybody's insight on that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
hate
guess.
that Ollie wasn't here because he always has answers for this type of stuff. But and he's in
Yeah.
the Discord, so I don't know. Maybe we could ask him at another point. But
Yeah. But that's really all I got. I mean, Totally and I have shared experiences like with like the battlefields in Clay County and stuff. I'll let him tell that and
Okay.
just things like that.
yeah, he said he'll be here as soon as he gets back from his neighbor's house. So you guys will have to like tell it together. That'll be awesome.
But yeah,
You want
I'll
to
hop
hang
back
out
in.
with us on the stream up here?
Well, yeah, I'll
Oh,
mute myself.
cat fight. Okay. Alrighty, because we got a guest, so you might as well hang out with us for a little bit. All right,
Thank you,
let's.
Seafood.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you.
So I was about 15 when I started researching where my family is from. My family has lived on the Stallion Mountain in West Virginia for years and centuries. A lot of my family were settlers here. There is an 1800 church that my family has owned since since I guess they came here, and it's been passed down in the family to take care of this church. It's a Catholic church, and the history behind the church passed down was this church was built on a Native American ground, which is kind of common because you don't really know, especially around here. Um, a lot of the white folk ran out the Native Americans here. It was passed down that there was 3 Indian, or not Indian, Native Americans that were buried under this church. And when they built this church, the pastor up who ran the church said you can't have service here. The mother came back and found that her sons were pretty much they didn't have a burial anymore. And it became, oh, sorry, my baby's crying. But under this church was, you know, the mother's burial of her sons that had passed away. And it was passed down that she had come back to visit her sons and said to the pastor that he could no longer have service. And now we can only have service, well, it got burnt down a couple of years ago, but you could only have service inside the church once a year. So when that had happened, I started doing a little research on my family and, you know, the burials, because I have old pictures of this church. And I would go up there and I'd do EVP recordings. And we had a recording one night. I was with a group of friends and we heard Mommy come through. And I wasn't thinking much of it because it's a burial ground now. Like, beside the church, there is graves. And in the back, there is unmarked graves. And it's on top of a hill. So they have stairs going from the bottom all the way to the top, and you have to walk these stairs. And after I had gotten that recording, we were getting ready to leave, and I took a bunch of pictures. We were in the middle of the night. No, effects were on, nothing. And I stopped on the stairs, and I took one last picture of the church. It's the only picture I have before it got burnt down. And there was a Native American little girl standing on top. I have the before, like I just kept clicking pictures. And this was on like a really, really old phone. Like it's not like, it wasn't like high tech as the iPhones were. So I just kept clicking pictures. And I have one picture of before, and you can clearly see that there's nothing there. And in the other one was a Native American little girl. And every time I go back and I do the same recordings and the same investigation, I still get her to come through.
Huh? And do you still have these pictures?
Yeah, I do.
Would you be willing to share them with us, or?
Yeah, I would have to go through and find them.
Uh huh.
But I do still have the pictures. They're posted on my Facebook. But yeah, I still have the pictures.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to get in touch with me or Sarah, and we can find a way so we can check those out. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because I can't really explain it because, like I said, this burial ground has been in my family since it was built. You know, this story has always been passed down, you know, from my grandparents to my great-grandparents, you know, to my dad. And like I said, it was only supposed to be 3 boys that were buried under the church. And this figure is at the top of the stairs, and I still get it every single time I go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
don't know if there's another burial. Like, I have walked through the woods because it's in the middle of nowhere. I've walked through. I've tried to find another burial, you know, maybe an unmarked burial. I can't find anything. And I really can't even explain it. And I do a lot of home research. Like, I research my area, different burial grounds here. You know, I'm one of those people that walk the cemeteries and try to put a face on a headstone. But this one I can't explain, and it happens every time. It's through my family. My family has been buried there from the 1800s since it was built. I have pictures of the pastor. I have pictures of, it was also not only a church, but it was like kind of like a school ground. Like they did schooling in there. And I have pictures of that too. I have the original pictures of when it was built until the last time I visited there, and it got burnt down.
That sounds pretty amazing. We'd definitely love to check those photos out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would love for somebody to tell me if, you know, if they see the same thing I do, because it's one of those pictures where, like, you kind of got to zoom in to look, but once you see it, it's there. And like I said, I've been doing this for quite some time, and I can't explain it. Yeah, it was back in where I live, well, back where my family was raised, it was like a small community. Back in the 1800s, it was a very small community of people, throughout. So it was a school, but it was also their church. It was one building. They went to school in, and they done church in this building up until it was stopped.
Very cool story. Ollie, Cecil, do you guys have anything you want to add or any questions?
Yeah, that's really spooky. Like based on the picture, does it seem like it's like a residual? Like, is it always in the same spot, making the same pose, or does it like change up?
It's only been in the one picture. I've only caught her once. It's very hard now because it seems like a lot of the things were disturbed when the church burned down. The people that burned the church are in the process of being prosecuted because this was a historical church. It was. My family's got pictures of, our family standing out front of it and their kids, and these are people that are buried on the ground. She, like I said, she's only come in that one time. She's only showed me that one time. But on EVP recordings, she's come in multiple times and has said mommy. But it's not like a mommy, it's in another language, and I had reached out to other natives, and that's what they say that came in, was mommy.
It's actually interesting. It feels like the spirit is kind of like as you said, they disturbed a lot,
Yeah,
and that spirit was taken before time. So it seems to me that definitely the child spirit is just probably a sign that you're seeing it is probably like some sort of guidance, a way of recognition,
yeah,
maybe even comforts the soul's memory. It's a spirit's memory that's coming through when they're
yeah,
asking for something that was familiar, or calling out to something that was familiar. And it seems that, like in the comments, someone said the spirit probably um, is around and is really open and prepared. Spirits like that, I'm not for certain, but the way you're describing, spirits like that are often very open to like it's time to move along, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And typically it's just that something is just holding them. A lot of sorrow can hold even like innocent spirits that were
And
unalive.
it's kind of weird because I have this like connection. Like I visit there regularly. Like if like kind of like a protective way over this place.
Hmm. And
And
that's why
I'm
I.
not even the one that's taking care of it. Like the way it is written, it's right now my great uncle, I believe, is the one that handles it. And it's kind of like a protective way, like to me, like I can't stop going there. It's weird. It's kind of like got a like grip on me to where like, okay, like every time we go down this mountain, like it's near a river, so we go fishing a lot. Every time I stop there, every time
Mhm.
we go down this road.
And is that the only thing that like is really out there in that certain spot for you? Is it that child spirit, or is there something
I've
more
had my
else?
youngest son, or he's not my youngest anymore, but he was. I just had a baby 3 months ago. But my child was 2, I believe around 2, and we were up there and we were visiting and we were walking around, and in the back corner there is it's called their lost souls. It's unmarked graves that have no headstone, no nothing, that are buried in the back. We don't know how many. We don't know if, it's like them piled on top of each other or side by side. We don't know. Um, it was believed that if you didn't believe in the faith that they were doing back then, that, when you passed, you were buried back there in the corner. And also had an experience where he was just learning, to talk, and he could say mama and dada, all the things like a 2-year-old would say. And he kept pointing to this one area where he would say, Mommy, there's a baby. Do you see the baby? Mommy, there's a baby. So
Yeah.
it's a lot. I've had a lot of experiences over there. I mean, I've seen things in the woods that I can't explain. Like I said, I do a lot of this on my free time. It's kind of one of the things that I really enjoy doing. And, I've seen lights. I've heard screamings in the trees. It's a lot. But that one really has stuck with me ever since, because every time I go back, if I do a session, it's like that one, girl just comes in. And that was what I was told, is it says mommy every time.
Well, that is a very, very cool story. You'll have to come back and give us some updates if you have any, and
Thank you
we
for that.
appreciate you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll try and find the pictures, and I will get in touch about the pictures and have you guys look over them.
Alrighty, that sounds good. Well, we appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good night, little fella. Oh man, you know when they say sleeping like a baby? That baby was her baby
Yeah.
was just the perfect example. It's just wow, if I could sleep like that, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah. So, Ali, did you hear Cecil's story a little bit ago? Because He has
I
kind of a weird story, and I told him that you might have some information on something like that.
I heard half of it. He was starting to tell, and then I went like I got a call.
Yeah.
My sister was calling me, so unfortunately, yeah. But I missed half of it. He started off and it was like getting really like spooky and everything.
We'll go over it in the Discord sometime. I don't want to bore everybody until they get.
Nah, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, just like the direct questions, just let me know. But yeah, like in certain places like that, for example, as Spooks was just saying, um, there is like I've heard of things that people have done to reconsecrate like kind of like rotten ground. I guess people who have disturbed things, and there's like how tos and stuff like that. Like even if the place is burned down, trying to plant flowers and stuff like that to redo, kind of put in beauty and remembrance. I heard somebody was in the comments. They were gonna say, "Are they coming up, Chris?"
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was writing some messages. Let me. Oh no. Well, we had somebody, but they're gone.
Oh, don't be shy, folks.
Yeah, whoever was in the box, if you want to come back.
Yeah, we had somebody, he'd been waiting for a little while, so he may have just navigated away from the stream.
Dipped.
All right, guys. Yes, we do have a Discord. Uh, you could also just like whenever you get the pictures ready, just send me a message on here. Um, what is that? Can psychic people see what is a? I don't even know what that is. So, Ali
I'll look
says
it up.
yes. That's the answer we're gonna go with. Hello, Heather. All right, guys, tap, 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 spam the chat. Let's get some people in here. It's a Saturday night. I expect it to be a little slow, pretty slow tonight. Guest box is open if anybody wants to come up, share a spooky story. We do paranormal stories, extraterrestrial stories, cryptid stories, unexplained in general, glitch in the matrix. We want to hear your spookiest spooky story, so jump in the guest box and come up and share that with us. We do ask that you are mindful of your language and you do follow the TikTok guidelines. Have 200 followers and be at least 18 years of age. And if you fit those qualifications, please feel free to come up. Happy Satanic Saturday. Woo!
Woo.
Holiday.
I'm not much of a holiday person, so I wouldn't know.
Man, I'm just waiting for Halloween. Well, anybody else gonna
Same.
come up, say some spooky stories?
Yeah, we're trying to reel them in.
All right,
Oh,
Chris, it's time to use the reverse psychology.
I swear it has always worked. This might be the first night that it doesn't work. Um, so, but yeah, I hope that nobody joins the box. I hope we don't get a guest. Uh, that would be great.
Yeah. No guests allowed.
Yeah,
Not even
well,
if they pay.
Yeah.
I would look that up.
Holly wants to know if we can go on the Discord. Well, we're waiting for Tully. I think when Tully gets here, we're gonna
yeah.
have a wild time talking and whatnot. So, but in the meantime, it's up to you guys. The more you tap,
Mhm.
the more likely we are to draw in some storytellers. So keep tapping that screen. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Do what Sarah said. Just tap, tap, tap. 3 fingers. Come on, let's go.
Three
Get them all
fingers. Three
tapping.
fingers.
Make it go 4 fingers. Make your phone very happy.
I don't think I can do that. Oh, what are we talking about?
Let's just put it up to that. Mm-mm. Anyways, there's no pun intended. I'll go ahead and say a folklore story if y'all
Yeah,
down.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So this one, I forgot now. This one came from Grandma. Um, it's because like we were little, and I remember like things have evolved since then. But this is a story that comes from South Asia or Eastern Asia, even Indonesia. All of those areas have a certain, and even some North African like cultures have a certain um, story that's similar. So this is a shapeshifter story. This was somewhat like a village story. So whether it's true or not, we're never gonna know. But it's like folklore, like La Llorona. It's like that. Um, and it's sad yet very scary and a little gruesome, but safe in a way. So here we go. The story goes in Asia. So as you know, South Chinese people, Koreans, even Indonesians, Thai, and Indian Pakistani people, even Persians, will have different variations of this kind of a story. But it's a story about Nagas people. Have you heard of Nagas people?
No.
So they're like a were snake or were
A were
reptilian.
snake?
Yeah, in the most like very lamest term I'm gonna put it, they're snakes that are enchanted. They're magical, like either snakes or they can be either even in Indonesia they say certain Komodo dragon or something like that.
Hmm.
Nagas. Let me type it in there. Nagas people. Y'all can look it up. Snake people or were snakes. They can actually um, transform into a human. They're very beautiful. It's said, depending on the culture, like I'm going to go with Indian culture. So, in Indian culture, they're very beautiful people when they transform into from snake to a human form. They're very enchanted. Their clothes resemble and symbolize reptilian patterns, but always made with pearls or diamonds, very like high quality gems that make them very much shiny and attractive. And so they're very venomous. They're not luring people, they do their own thing for themselves. They pretty much stay in nature and they're around guarded temples. And they guard a certain treasure. Now, this story particularly involves a mated pair. And apparently, so there's treasure hunters. People, again, stories are different, either as a colonizer or whatnot. They go after a specific ruin that they're looking for. And it's a rock. It's like for us, it would be in the Europeans would call it the sorcerer's stone or the alchemist stone. It's like that. And India, it's very bright, as if it is. If y'all have seen The Hobbit, if y'all seen the Arkenstone, it glows. It's like that, a diamond that really has light in it, said to give persons immortality, and said to give a person like any wish you want will be granted, like that, if a human gets their hands on it. So these snake people were dancing, right? The snakes turned into the villagers, like these two kids were watching, because they were like sneaking out, like going into the woods because they heard music, and then they were watching these two couples, who were dancing just under the moonlight and singing. And then the boys saw these two snakes, or these two people, turn into a snake. Literally snakes, like huge cobras, just dancing around, like, as cobras do, like a little mating coil. Y'all can look up mating coil. It looks like two gummy worms together. Anyways, so they were like twisted around and they transformed back into humans dancing around. It's just on it goes. So there was I would say witches, like temple witches or something like that, that come in and try to find these snake people that were after them because apparently they guarded treasure. So they found the mate was in human form and they shot him with something. These people were guided by like a dark sage, I would say, a power hungry sage. It would be like a magi, but the opposite of good or balanced. One who really wanted like power for bad. So it's like an evil story. So they go after something happened to where they were successful in capturing this snake. They got the male, the mate. So they were trying to turn him into human or try to like, shock the snake or do something to return. And it kind of happened for a second and it didn't because the boys followed the poachers to the treasure hunters to their camp and they were just doing all this torture and unfortunately the mate did not make it. The mate, the male, was unalived and they left the body there. They're like, okay, well, this is worthless. And what happened was the female was slithering around and she found the mate's carcass. And now the snake, she was in snake form, she turns back into a human. She has the greatest wailing cry that can be heard probably 100 miles. The scream is, I would say, could make your ears bleed. It was very sad. Plants and flowers around her also just like unalived themselves of sadness. Like, all of the water from him was drained. It was fury, emotions were anger, and emotions were vengeance. So she was basically, they have the ability to figure out what happened. So she kind of like touches her mate's body and she's collecting all of this information from his eyes. She can see who were the attackers, who did this, and now she tracks them down. She's going from village to village in snake and human form, tracking each and every one of these people down. She goes to the first victim. And what happens is she's sneaking in, and in the middle of the night, there's a couple. Now the guy is sleeping with like I think what was it? I don't know if it was his mistress or whatnot, but he's sleeping with somebody. Out of huge fury, this normal like 8-foot cobra turns into a much more giant cobra. She bites him in the chest to wake him up. He's in excruciating pain. The head of this huge cobra turns into the face of that woman. She looks him in the eyes before she consumes him in front of this woman. And then this woman, after she's consumed this guy, she is basically striking this woman 100 times before she is basically nothing. Just imagine huge teeth, just like striking you until like there's a lot of holes in you. think about it like that. So that's how in the morning people found that body. They didn't find the guy. He was gone. Hello, Frank. So on and on she goes. She finds the second victim. And the second attacker was the one who was the dark sage. Now, he kind of thought, this lady's coming. The snake is coming. So he does everything in his power and enchantment to basically stop him. He's using magic against magic. But there is nothing like a woman scorn. So my grandma says she comes up and she's using all sorts of powers. She is literally lifting that cauldron up and she bombards it and destroys it. She is taking away all of the herbs through conducting wind power. Now she's in human form at this time. One last thing this sage tries, and he tries this flute, is an enchanted flute, to make her dance and dance until she unalives herself. Like so out of energy that she unalives herself or tells him where is, the Nag money. A Nag money is the enchanted stone that they were after. She starts to dance, but apparently it's not going to work for long because she summons other snakes, wild snakes, for her defense. They surround them, and a snake basically sacrifices himself. And, the flute is knocked out of his hand. That was it. All in all, she slithers into snake form and she grabs him by the navel. And this 8-10 foot skinny snake grabs him by the navel, but biting him, striking him, and throwing him out of his little safety net, his temple, and she slithers out. As she slithers out, her size keeps growing and growing and growing, like a huge python. Now, she basically doesn't consume all of him. She just consumes his head. I forgot exactly what it was and why she did that, but she just consumed the head. She goes for the third victim. And she goes after the third victim. And this time, this is the main victim. I think it was a foreigner, what my grandma said. The foreigner who she followed, crossing seas, no longer in native land. So the first two victims were in India. The third went back to Europe or something like that, was hiding somewhere. She, after a year and a half, found a way to get there. Probably on foot. They don't take cars. They don't take boats. They don't do any of that. It was probably her slithering her way all the way, tracking him down. And because she would have had offspring and they mate for life, she found him, she knocked on his door, and she was basically in a salesperson, like a little maid, She's like, "Hello, can I come in? I'm here to talk to you." And he sees just a little Molly maid kind of a person, like, "Hello, how you doing? Come on in." And she, the wife is greeting her, being nice and stuff like that. She's like a neighbor. She says, "I'm your neighbor." She sits down. They're waiting for the husband to come home. That's the third guy, the poacher. So they wait for the foreign guy to come home from work. And as soon as the two ladies are being nice to each other, right? They're tea, crumpets, whatever. So this guy comes home from work and he's like, "Who is this?" He doesn't recognize or he doesn't remember. We're like, "Who's this?" And lady's like, "Honey, she's our new neighbor." And the lady that's sitting there, so silent and still, puts the little teacup down because she never drank it. She looks right at. Now, here's the thing. She never really consumed a bite or a sip of anything that was served to her. It is said that if you serve a snake, mainly cobra, in certain parts of India, some milk or certain refreshment, it is considered, and they take it, that snake is like loyal to you. That snake will be forever grateful to you. She never did that. She was just waiting, quiet. And as soon as it came in, what happened is her eyes started to change. Her eyes changed color. They turned into snake eyes, deep, deep blue, with ember like spikes, like like a snake eye with the iris being very blue. So my mom described it. That's how you can tell that one of these people are Nagas. And he dropped his suitcase and all his files. And the door was shut, locked, like as if a ghost locked that door. So if you ever seen like one of those haunting movies, just imagine that door just going. There's no escape. She stands up and she opens her mouth. And all she says, "This is for my mate." In her language. He couldn't understand. But she said, "I am here for you." And I'm translating what my grandma said. So she loses her arms. Literally in front of this couple, she's transforming. And before her head turns into a full snake, a huge snake, she says, "I will take everything from you." And everything she meant. So, basically, she takes her tail, she coils him and constricts him so he can watch his wife being bit in half and basically swallowed. And then she busts open the door where the kids are sleeping. They had 3 kids. She strikes each one of those kids in their sleep, but they were napping. She strikes each one of his children, his offspring, and they basically unalive with extreme venom in their sleep. And then she turns around when he is full of sorrow and grief. She basically strikes him in his spinal cord to where he is completely immobilized, except his neck up works so he can cry tears forever. So much so that there were some side effects that happened to him to where his tears, my grandma said, will be so heavy and stuck to his cheeks and stuff like that, that they would crystallize. Almost crystallize into shimmering little itty bitty crystals, something shiny of value. It's salt, of course, but so much so that it would smell like sulfur. And forever, that man will have the image of him losing everything. After that, of course, she disappeared. Whatever happened to this snake woman, no one knows. But there was never any music under the full moon night or the new moon night ever again in that forest.
Ooh, very cool, Ollie.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a little sad, but there you go.
You have such a calming voice, Ollie.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, like they've made some like horror movies about it or something like that. They're basically Asian movies. Either they're Indian Bollywood films or they are um, Japanese, Chinese. It's usually in those cultures. So that's like, their little um, vampire vengeance or something like that. Some cryptid vengeance story that comes out. But it's something cool. Y'all can look it up. I'll put some images down in Discord. It'll be
Sounds good. Thank you, Nick Felix, for the gifts. Thank you all for the gifts. I appreciate that. And we do have the guest who was on a little bit ago. I believe she is back. She's going to show us some pictures, some spooky pictures. You
Yes.
guys tap the screen, send some hearts. Let's get some people in here. Welcome back.
Okay, I
Sweet.
found them. Let me see how to get them up. I don't really go live much, so just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Mm,
Do you have like physical copies of them, or are they like on a
no,
computer?
these are the ones that I had taken that I was talking about.
Yeah.
I got the original one and then the zoomed in one.
Okay.
That is the original,
Uh huh.
and then that is the zoomed in. And this is what the church originally looks like without any disturbance there. If I can find it, give me 1 minute. Right here. And then I'll go back to it. The way it seems to me is like her back is like kind of towards me, like with the black, looks like black hair
Right.
and like a faded dress.
Yeah, like a kind of like a brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you did a zoomed in one right above the head, it kind of looks like a like a skull.
I do
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
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 And I have more pictures. This is just the one that I was speaking about of the little girl. I do have a picture from in the back where the burial is. I'll pull that up if you guys are interested in that one.
Yeah.
Now that is in the back where the headstones are.
Uh huh.
And the little figure up above the one headstone kind of threw me off because it's kind of one that comes to a point.
Oh, I thought that was part of the headstone.
No, it's not. It's not. It comes to a point, like a triangle at the top,
Yeah.
and one side is the family and the description, and then the other side is like I believe like a prayer on the back, and that was over top.
Huh.
It's
Yeah.
not part of it.
it looks like a head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
looks
this
like
is
a
a different
elongated
story?
head, like a long one.
And there's some of these stones that we can't we don't know who they are. We don't know when they were born, anything like that. There's no some of the headstones don't have that on there. And there is no record anymore of some of these people that were buried there. Like I said, in the back corner is what they call the lost souls. If you weren't baptized back then, that is where you were buried, and it's pretty much considered a mass grave for them.
Right.
Um, This is when the church was originally built. It's been modified now, with the siding and everything. This is what it used to look like. I kind of had to zoom in a lot more
Yeah.
because this is out of like a newspaper article, and it says location and everything. But
That's a cool picture.
this
Wow.
is
Yeah.
Thank
one
you
that
so
was
much.
also shared in the back of the church. Like I said, it's not there anymore. But the one has always stuck with me. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird because
Yeah.
that's the only time I've gotten it. And it clearly, you can't see the church, and you should be able to see it. Come here, baby.
I was actually gonna ask if you could bring that up again because I was gonna screenshot it. Um, yeah, that does look like a face above the girl. I mean, I'm sure that could be pareidolia, but it looks
Yeah.
creepy. It looks creepy.
Yeah, I honestly, I've never had somebody point out the face until now. It's the girl that threw me off.
And you have this same exact picture without the girl in it?
The one right before it, yes, as we were going down.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's just the church and then just that wooden railing.
Yeah.
So,
And there is no monument in front of it. There is one sign, and that is at the bottom. And there used to be a plaque inside. I have inside the church. Of what it used to look like. This was where there's a shelf right there, and that would have the plaque on it.
uh-huh.
Basically stating, this was made. Some of the people that were died here, some of the history on it, but that was it. There's nothing in front of it. There was never anything built in front of it. Like, these are the same pictures, the same night, and all, and there's something there.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Oh, so, Chris or Sarah, can y'all define pareidolia?
Sarah can. I can't even speak to begin with.
So pareidolia is basically when your mind makes sense of chaos. The best example is if you've ever seen like the old wooden doors that have like the swirl pattern on them. A lot of times people say that they see faces in it. Also, like if you look up at the clouds and you see shapes and like rubber duckies and things like that in the clouds, that's kind of pareidolia. And it's a big thing in the paranormal because a lot of times, depending on the picture or the video, you might see things that you think are there, but they're not really there. Um, and really, what it is, it's kind of like it's an evolutionary trait that we have. It's like a holdover trait to keep us safe from predators. So it's a pretty prevalent thing, but I've found that there's a stark difference in like solid paranormal evidence and like when you see something you think maybe like well there might be some pareidolia here. So if that makes sense, probably a terrible explanation of
Yeah,
it, but
definitely. I mean, I've, as myself, I've seen things I'm kind of like, second guessing if they were really there. Like I said, I've only done this as a hobby. I'm no professional at all. Like I said, I only got into it because this has been passed down in my family. I'm kind of like the oddball pretty much. My house, I have my house decorated Halloween all year long. And this is something I do to kind of deflect from motherhood. You know what I mean? Like kind of have my own hobby in it. I
Right.
don't I don't do lives. I don't do this for content. I do this to kind of find things that you would never see. Like you would see like a normal 1800 grave, and what I would see is this person had a life. So I kind of like taking pictures and going back, and like I said, this all started of me going out there and doing investigations and trying to figure out who was actually there. And this has always stuck with me, especially the story that was always passed down through my family and my family owning the cemetery. So I don't know, like I didn't know if I was always just seeing this.
Yeah.
I just to me it looks like a little girl like passing by the stairs, and I just caught a glimpse of her because I can't see through her. I can't see the other side of the church. I just see what I see, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely does look like a girl, and she's a little bit further away. And then it does look like another entity closer that has like a skeletal face. Well, that's what I see. I don't know what you guys see, but
Yeah.
Yeah. The skeletal face is the first thing I seen. Now I've actually caught a screenshot of it and I'm lighting it up right now and it's even more prevalent. It's actually pretty crazy looking.
it's pretty prominent. Yeah, you can see it very clearly.
Yeah. I kind of see it like right above her head, kind of
Yeah.
like a part of the staircase.
Right. Right. Yeah, because I mean, I know the wood railing keeps going in that direction, but I don't see how that would make that skeletal face. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Um
Um, yeah, but that's really cool. I mean, that's definitely one of the creepier ghost pictures I've seen. I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was a I don't want to call him like a ghost hunter, but there was somebody on here that did TikTok and had a bunch of following and would do the same investigations at the same place. Um, he's done a lot of research on this place. I believe he's got like TikTok still up. I'm not really supportive of what he has done because I think it done more harm than it did good. Um, just for the simple fact of um, it brought a lot of people visiting this place. Like it brought a lot of followers to this place wanting to investigate. Um, and this is owned by my family. And they were given permission, and like I said, a lot of things changed afterwards when it burnt down. When it burnt down, the weirdest part was when we went back to it. The guys were arrested. What they did is they took the flowers, the fake flowers, off the mantle, and they lit them on fire in the middle of the church. And it burned down completely. there was nothing left. What they did is the wood underneath it, I mean, it's older wood, it was up in flames within minutes. There was no saving it. The weirdest thing was around the grave sites that are right beside it, they were never harmed. Never. A lot of the grave sites were completely intact. The only thing that had really destroyed was the church and everything inside there. But the grave sites, like I'm talking grave sites that are like a foot away from this church. Like they're side by side by side, all the way from front to back. And they were never, the grass around them was completely fine. It was like nothing ever happened.
Huh. Yeah, that's really interesting. Where those were all the photos you needed to show us, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to
Okay.
share those because like I said, I got off here and I went back and I found all of them, what I had, so.
All right. All right, Sarah, should we
Yeah, well, we appreciate you so much sharing these with us. This is really fascinating, and definitely,
yeah.
like I said, come back and update us if you have any more um, incidents or run-ins or encounters. Let us know what's going on, and yeah, we appreciate you, and thanks for sharing all that with us.
Yeah, really cool.
Thank you for bringing me up and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right, very cool, guys. Tap the screen, send some hearts.
Keith, can you see?
What?
I think
What is it?
Keith 495. I think he's trying to get on. I'm not sure. Like, I think he needs help.
We lost somebody that was there earlier.
Yeah, the Johnny person that was in there, he had been waiting for quite some time. I think he dropped out. Keith's is in the box. I'll go ahead and bring him up.
Okay.
Yay! Howdy.
Hello, welcome.
Hi,
Got a spooky story for us?
I do actually. Um, I work for a metal foundry. It's an older building. Um, my boss's their office is in a trailer, and one day I didn't feel very well, so I went in there to go fill out a slip, and at the corner of my eye, I seen a dark black smoky figure, and I didn't feel very good, so I just blew it off. But I was thinking, throughout the day, man, maybe there was something in the corner. Anyways, I was really thinking about it on my way home. I started having an electricity problem in my house where my lights kept flickering off and on to where I called Consumers Energy, and they came out and they changed the outside connectors. They said that they were old. So I thought, everything's good. And it just kept happening with the lights flickering in my kitchen. Um, we couldn't really figure it out. So we ended up calling electrician to come look at our electric. And he went through all the plugs in the kitchen and everything. And everything seemed fine. And the breaker box was fine. One of the breakers was getting bad, but he changed it. And we're still having electric problems. But a couple days later, my girlfriend and I were in the bedroom. Our kid was at his grandma's house. So we were having like a little adult time or whatever you want to call it, you know. And I go in the bedroom and my corner light turns on. Like, hey, can I watch you guys or something? I'm like, oh, that's what popped up in my head. So all this weird stuff was happening, but on my way to work, my lights were turning off on my vehicle, my front headlights. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and they would turn off, but they would pop back on. And it was happening for a month. And I couldn't figure it out. You know, I like took my took the lights out. Everything seemed fine. And it was going on for about a month. But it would just happen at periodically times in the morning. It was like it was telling me not to go to work or something. And one day in the morning, I was on my way to work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and my headlights went out again. And I had some certain words to say out loud. And all of a sudden, I look in the rear view, in my rear mirror, and the car's lights went out behind me, and they ended up pulling over on the side of the road. So it was just a crazy thing that happened to me, and I don't know what the thing was.
Yeah, a smoky black shadow.
Yeah, yeah. When I went to go fill out a slip to
Yeah,
leave because I didn't feel good, I seen it in the corner, and when I seen it, it knew I seen it, but it had like a sense of humor. So I
Oh,
mean, yeah. But this thing
very
would this
strange.
yeah, after seeing this thing in the corner, it just knew that I seen it, and it followed me home, and I had problems with electric, and my bedroom light was turning on. And the thing that got me is going to work at 4 in the morning and having my lights turn off, and then the car's lights behind me shut off after I said something to it, like "I'll see you later" or something, you know. And I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is very strange. Is this the first time you've ever had a paranormal encounter? Is this whole incident?
No, I've had other ones. Um, I've seen that thing before, actually, when I worked at another job. I don't know if it observes people or whatever, but I know it watches people, and I don't know why. But somebody that I know actually had a problem when they were at work and seen the thing. And they don't know my story. They don't know me. All they know is that they were freaked out by this black smoky figure. And my face actually turned white when she told me that this individual had problems with this black smoky thing. So ever since that, I've been kind of looking for it in a sense, just to, I don't know, curiosity got me about it because it's doing something. I don't know. It just, I think it absorbed. Because what it was doing when I seen it is it was watching my boss and another guy in the office talking. Is what I think it was doing. It was observing those two, and I stumbled up on it, you know. But
yeah,
I don't know why they wouldn't have seen it. I mean, maybe certain people can see certain vibrations or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that is definitely very interesting. Cecil, Ali, do you guys have any questions or anything you want to add? Or
Not right off the top. I mean, it sounds like a terrifying experience. When it comes to like smoke monsters and stuff, I'm not sure what they could even be.
It's. I mean, what is the initial like? Do you get a lot of dread or fear when this specific Smoke is around? Smoky figure?
No, what it was doing, I think, is it was showing that its presence was around. It had a sense of humor when it would turned on the bedroom light for me. You know, I don't know if it switches, like vibrations or whatever to where you can see it. Certain people can see it, and then you can't, but it will tease you and let you know it's there. That's what it was doing with my car lights at 4 o'clock in the morning for a month and a half. And they would only turn off for a few seconds. And I didn't think nothing of it at first, the first couple times, and then I'm like, what the heck? And then
Uh,
the car behind me, when I had some words that I said to it, chosen words that I said to it, the car's lights behind me, his lights went off, and I seen him go on the side of the road and pull over. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, is this thing saying, I'll see you later, Keith? Or I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I suspect is what I've heard of, or what some people may call like a phantom spirit.
hmm,
Uh, Something that's like almost like a poltergeist, to be honest. Like
hmm,
they're not really, it doesn't feel like it's strong enough to really do so much, but it is trying to, as you're saying, like, it's trying to play games with you, and it seems like that. Am I correct?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it feels like it's like one of them little phantom poltergeists or something like that. The way you're describing it, it's I'm pretty sure many people have certain similar um, encounters, but the persona, like the way you're describing it, the emotions and the actions the spirit is doing, it seems like it's a mischievous like spirit, like it wants to, like, it wants to play games, and that's what it is doing. It's like, hey, now I'm going to like poke you for as long as I can until like you do something about it. It's kind of like that.
I see.
And
Hmm.
especially when, yeah, and that's, Project 90 has said in the comments, or they're leeching off of the electrical, like, that electricity power, like batteries in the car or your phone. It's, like these are energies. As we are talking through our phones, just imagine those radio waves, right?
Yeah,
Those are the kind of energies sometimes spirits like, and something like a poltergeist or a phantom or phantom spirit or whatever may want to use that to, like, mess with you or give you or do something. And that's pretty much where I see it as.
okay.
Don't provoke
Yeah,
it too
I
much.
couldn't even put a label on it. So I appreciate that. Some little insight on it because,
Yeah, I can't be, I mean, I can't promise you definite. I can only tell you what my intuition tells me, and what I feel from my knowledge it could be. But yeah, just, stay careful, because if it does something like that, to like screw with the car behind you, it feels like it was trying to like cause a little mischievous accident or something, get you involved or bother you for something.
yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was saying goodbye to me, really. The way it happened, the car behind me, it pulled over to the side really quick. And I never really told anybody about this. And I don't know. It was just a real weird thing that happened for about all together about 3 months. So
Yeah, stay safe, and if you have a metaphysical shop near you, I would definitely pick up some protection for yourself.
yes, yes, okay, yeah, it's gone now, but yeah, in the future, I need to. You do got to prepare for stuff like that because those energies like that can actually do all kinds of stuff to you, make you depressed and put thoughts in your head that you normally don't feel, and I don't know. You run into some crazy stuff in this world. So
Yeah,
Well, we
definitely.
appreciate you so much for sharing that with us, and that is a really cool story. And hopefully, you hang out and listen to some stories with us tonight.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Very cool.
I got
Yeah.
heated, but that's just my fan.
All right, guys. Wow, this is the slowest night we've had, like ever. So the
Really?
guest box is open if anybody wants to come up and share a story.
Where's Lodge?
Uh, I don't know. Lodge was actually in the Discord last night. Didn't he
Mhm.
say that he was going to come tell us
A
a
story,
story
yeah.
tonight? I think he said he had one.
Where's
Uh,
Tully? That's what I want to know.
yeah, where is
Me
Tully?
too.
Oh, is that? Oh no, I thought that was Tully. It's Ashley.
I would assume Tully's probably passed out.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi,
Hello,
Ashley.
It's
welcome.
about time, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know. I told you guys I have tons of stories. Um, I actually had a fire at work, and I had to stay over with They had to shut down and send everybody home, and I had to stay over with the firemen and get everything cleaned up. So I'm just getting home, but so I'm gonna just tell one story because I've been hearing that is it Chris that wants to hear like a glitch in the matrix type of story?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this was about 3 years ago. I don't know if this is considered a glitch in the matrix. Um, but it's a Mandela effect. And I was at Walmart about 3 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and Walmart. I don't know where you live, but some places don't have Walmart, but they have an optical place in there to get glasses,
Right.
and they have posters of the brands that they sell. And the Skechers Mandela effect.
Yeah, Cat Mama's the Mandela effect person here.
Okay, you know how I remember it because I'm 40. So, like, when I was in high school, I graduated in 2001. And I remember it having a T in it. And that's what most people remember, they say it's not spelled like that and it never was. But I don't know. Do you remember that?
That's the one. That's one of the Mandela effects where I'm like, yeah, I kind of do feel like it had a T in it, but
Uh,
Ashley,
uh,
you're not driving, are you?
No, I'm sitting in my car at
Oh,
the 7-Eleven. I'm about to go home. So that's why I figured I'd jump
okay.
on and just tell a quick story before I head home.
Yeah. Oh, am I cutting out?
No, you're good.
Oh, yeah, I feel like it did, but who knows? I mean,
I for sure
Well, I
remember it having the
I
T in it.
remember it having a T because I remember the
yeah,
kids at school getting but I didn't care for the brand, so I didn't get them, but I remember it having a T. So about
yeah,
3 years ago, I had heard of the Mandela effects and I had seen the Skechers one and I was like, oh, I remember there was a T in there. And I was going grocery shopping at Walmart, walked past the optical place and seen the brand names for Skechers for glasses and it had a T in it. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was freaking out inside, like so happy I finally caught it. I'm gonna show proof on the internet and everything. And I took about 5 photos and I was gonna tell my boyfriend when I got home. I wasn't gonna send it because I was like gonna just like surprise him because I've been telling him about the Mandela effects because he hadn't heard of them. And And I remember when I took a photo, in the bottom right hand of the screen, the photo pops up that I took it. I could see that it had taken the photos. And when I got home, those photos were gone. And I have never been able to find them ever again.
Ooh, huh. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. And it drives me insane to this day. I still talk about it. Like, seriously, I probably think about it at least once a day since that's
Oh,
happened. Like, I'm so disappointed that I cannot find those photos. And
I'm
I've
sad
tried,
that.
like,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say.
I
Oh my
go
gosh.
ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead, and then I'll talk
Okay.
after you.
Okay. Yeah, like I've tried, like, I don't know what other things I could do because I've never like backed up photos. Like sometimes I found like photos like in Google that I didn't know that had been backed up. So I've looked through there. I just don't know what else I could look through to try to find it. I just bought a new phone today and I'm gonna hook it up and see if I can, I don't know, if there's like, I'm gonna Google to see if there's any way I can recover any photos because I know
Hmm.
I didn't delete them. They just disappeared. So I'm gonna see if there's a way. Or I even have the phone that I took it on. I could probably put, I don't know if I could use the card in another phone that's similar because I still have the same phone company and I usually get the same phone because it's only like $39.99. So I
Yeah.
could probably use that. But it's I mean 3 years ago it's disappeared, so I don't see how it could reappear, but maybe it could. But
Hmm.
okay, go ahead.
Well, as far as the pictures, I know there's like I know there's certain apps that you can download that can recover deleted photos. I know there's a way to get deleted photos back. Um, but no, I was just gonna say that I'm sad. Cat Mom is not. I don't think she's in here anymore. Because she would have loved that story because she likes the Mandela effect.
Come back and say it again.
Yeah,
Tell her.
I will.
Yeah,
I will. Um, yeah, I usually don't come on it, and I know I talked to you, Chris, in Messenger or in messages, like about writing my stories down in order.
yeah,
Um, but it's just hard because I get out at 11 at night and nobody cleans the area. So my boss has been making me stay till like midnight and everybody's sleeping at home. And I live in a manufactured home. So like everybody could hear me. But the weather's nicer out now. I could sit out in the garage and tell stories, but I I always lose track of what I'm talking about or skip over details and confuse people. So like I just want to like get it in order, like of what I want to say, so I could come back and do that sometime soon.
yeah. Did you want to tell us another one or?
Um, okay, what would be okay, I have a witness, my sister, okay. She's I just turned 40 and she just turned 38. She was I never continued with school, but she did. She went to be a farm tech, an RN, and then now she's a case manager for the hospital and works at home. Um, like she's like, like a credible source, like I guess somebody would assume that like I could just be making it up, but she wouldn't be the one to make something up. But we're for some reason my parents divorced when I was young, and if you hear cars, it's just the people pulling in the parking lot next to me. Um, So my dad lived in Ohio. I'm in Michigan. So he would drive up every other weekend to pick us up. And he remarried. And the street he lived on, my stepmom's parents lived on that street. And for some reason, me and my sister spent the night at their house. And I don't know why, because we never did. So I don't know if they had like plans to go out that night or something. I don't know. But my sister and I were, it was like time for bed. We were probably 13 and 15 years old. And um okay, so say like, okay, the bed, okay, I'm laying on my right side and my sister's laying on her right side and she's in front of me. So I'm looking at the back of her head, okay? And
Uh,
if we're looking straight out, that's the doorway that is at the top of the stairs. And we both thought, like, we were like really good kids. Like my dad was really strict, like, like behave, like don't get on their nerves and be loud and rambunctious and playing around in people's houses and stuff like that, getting on their nerves. So we were like really, really good and quiet. And we went to bed and like just talked for a minute and didn't say anything. And we both thought that we had fallen asleep. And we heard, and we had previously, in their address, the address to her house was 666 George Street. But we had heard a couple stories. They were really religious. I'm not religious at all. And about like say they would turn off lights from upstairs and then they would be on the first level and the light would be shining down the steps and just stuff like that, harmless stuff. So we're laying in bed. We both thought that we were asleep because it had been a long time since we had said anything. And I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. And I didn't know if it was my stepmom's parents. Um, but I was looking. I had my eyes open because I knew they couldn't see me anyway because it was dark. But the light was on. The light in the hallway that would be at the top of the stairs, but the bedroom light was off. And I had my eyes open, and as the footsteps they were slow, and as they got up to the top of the stairs to where the bedroom door would be, um, it was an old couple. It was two full embodied apparitions. You couldn't like see through them. They looked like normal people, and they stopped and they turned and turned their heads a little bit more and looked at us for a few seconds and then turned and then walked into the bathroom and didn't say anything. I shut my eyes and pretended I was asleep. And then in the morning, when we woke up, my sister and I talked about it. We described down to the T what they were wearing. She was like, I thought you were asleep. I was like, I thought you were asleep too. And, but nothing ever really like has like been like jump out, scare you. Like to me, it's just like it's spooky when it happens. But um so that was one. And then another one, I was at my friend. This one is a really crazy one. This is like a doppelganger one. Had just had my daughter. I had her when I was 19, and so I was probably about 21, and she was staying the night at my mom's house because I never let her stay anywhere. I always had her. She's probably only spent the night at my mom's house like 10 times throughout her whole life, and she's like 20 now, 20, almost 21. And so I had went out with my friend Renee, and um we were on the pool team. I'm gonna roll up the window because these people are loud. Um we were on a pool league, and we went out to shoot some pool, and like I had a drink. I don't know. No, she didn't have a drink because she drove, and I wasn't drunk or anything. And probably 3 or 4 hours had passed by, and we were talking in her living room, and she's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna head up to bed." And so she went upstairs. Her and her husband went up to bed, and I just um laid on the couch downstairs, and they left the TV on for me and gave me the remote. But it was like, I don't know. I'm not the type of person to like watch TV. And like remotes confuse me because some people have like 3 remotes that control different things, and I didn't want to press the wrong button. And because when I woke up, there was like an unsolved mysteries type show on, and it was just creepy. And I was like looking at the remote in the dark. I was trying to hold it up, trying to see, like if I could find a button. And then I was like, I ain't gonna push no button because I don't want someone else to turn off and mess up their stuff. And so I put the TV remote on the coffee table. And that's when I noticed my friend Renee standing there in the same exact clothes that she was wearing that night, her same body shape. She was standing between me and the TV, so I could just like see her silhouette. It was her. And I was like, "Oh, hey, whenever you're done watching TV, can you shut it off?" And she turned around, and she was like, the look on her face, she was like surprised. She's like, "You see me?" And I'm like, so I was like starting to like get up, like sit up. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Hello? Like, can you turn the TV off whenever you're done? Because like I don't like, it scares me to listen to this kind of stuff." And she didn't answer me. She wouldn't answer anything, and she was just like freaked out, like, "Oh my God, you see me?" And I sat up, wide-eyed. I was wide awake. And I was like, "Renee, are you okay?" I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she just kept backing up, and she disappeared in between. She had the big speakers. She had like I think it was like a 70-inch flat screen TV. Like it was kind of like an older one. I don't know if it was that big, but it was one of the big, but it was old. And then she had like the big speakers on the side because her and her husband used to play like the guitars and stuff, and people would sing and stuff like that. And she slid between the speaker and the TV like sideways and just disappeared. And I put the blanket over my head, and I was like, "How am I gonna get out of here?" And I ended up, I don't know when I fell asleep, but when I woke up, she had like really thick curtains, so but I could tell it was getting light outside. So um I was just like my phone was on the side table, and I just had to force myself to count to like 1, 2, 3, and just yank the blankets off and grab my phone. Nothing was there. I grabbed my phone. I was like, "Can you please come down?" I was like, "I'm so scared. Something happened last night." And she didn't really make a big deal about it. Like, she didn't act freaked out. She said nothing's ever happened in our house, but it was her that I saw. Like, exactly like her. But it was just weird. She just was like freaked out, like, "Oh my gosh, you see me?" You know?
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh,
That's
and
spooky.
yeah. And then I think I only went to her house like once or twice after that during the day. They did end up setting up a camera facing the area that I saw that at. So um but she said that they never caught anything or whatever when I had seen her because she had lost her job after. Oh, I worked with her. She had lost her job after that. So, but then another one. I'm missing so many details. Like, I didn't think I was gonna tell so many stories because I just wanted to like get them all
Let
good
us
with the
know.
details and stuff. But I have okay, so I tried like this astral projection type YouTube videos at night, and one of them worked, and I was like kind of sitting up sleeping in my bed. I wasn't asleep though. Like I was awake, but I was like awake dreaming and my eyes were closed, and it's just hard to explain. Like I was trying to talk but I couldn't get words out. It took me to a time where my daughter was about 3 or 4, and it was at her dad's family's house, and nothing bad was like happening or anything, but I was trying to talk, and I could only it was like a struggle to get just one word out, and I kept trying to say, because I thought I was astral projecting, like I don't exactly know exactly what it is, but that's what my intention was at night, um to do that, and I kept struggling to get a word out, and I was like, I I I I and they're like, it's okay, we know. And I was like, and I could feel my dog laying next to me, and I could feel her looking up at me because my body was moving, and I was trying to talk, and I could tell that my dog was like thinking, "What are you doing?" And after that, things started happening in my house. I talked to Ali about this, and there was things misplaced in my house. Like I had made a batch of like biscuits for sausage gravy and biscuits. The biscuit container was up in the cupboard where I keep my little basket of like phone chargers. I'm trying to think what else there was. I don't know, there was just like so many weird things. Oh, there was a syrup bottle underneath my kitchen table, and I nobody eats at my kitchen table, but it was put there like behind the leg of the table, like it was trying to be hidden. And nobody eats the syrup, like the breakfast food, but only me. But I don't remember doing that. Like I don't think I did that. Um gosh, I can't
Yeah, I
remember
remember
what
you
else.
telling me all of this. I was kind of like
Yeah.
scared for you. I was like, ooh, I hope she can. I hope with those protections it works.
Yeah, and it was also a stressful, very 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 stressful time in my life. Um my daughter had a problem going on situation. My boyfriend, we've been together for about 16 years now, so they grew up since they were 3 years old. And they he kind of betrayed her, and kind of like wrecked the whole family. Um I was willing to let it go, but they weren't. Or I mean, they not that they weren't, but they he knew that he messed up, so blocked everybody's phone numbers, and his son did, and wouldn't communicate with anybody. But anyway, so it was real stressful. My daughter wouldn't come to the house. She had moved out with her fiance. Um so anyways, so I didn't know if that had anything to do with it, like me being, because I didn't know if I was going through like having a manic episode or psychosis while this was all happening. That's why I was wanting to talk to him, because um like I had found myself at Meyer, like lost. I couldn't find my car. Didn't know why I was at Meyer for like an hour. Like just weird things were happening after I did that video, and nothing like that has ever happened. So I couldn't, I didn't know if I could relate it to the stress or that video because it all happened at once. And there's it that's when the mimic started in my house, but it's like a really weird mimic. Like my boyfriend will come out of the room saying, "Hey, you call me?" And I'm like, "No." And then I'll see like my boyfriend walk by, like just a shadow of him because I'm looking at my phone, and he's off in the distance walking to another room. And then he really walks by, and I'm like, "Oh, I thought you just walked that way." He's like, "No." And then I can hear like if I'm in the bedroom, I can hear the TV on in the living room. I can hear it playing, and it's not on. And then I can hear my so since my daughter moved out, he made that his video gaming room, and I can hear his chair, like the way the sounds are, like his chair, the controller buttons, him laughing, and um whatever, the sounds, and he's not at home. But just little stuff like that. Just like the mostly now, like since I talked to Ali, he helped me a lot. Um, but the mimic thing has um slowed down a lot. The other stuff doesn't happen as much. Like it hasn't happened for a while. So I think it really helped. Thank you for that.
Oh, of course, but that was a lot of it was you, Ashley. When you get power over a lot of things and situations of yourself, a lot of these things can affect you. So yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I appreciate it, and I'm maybe a little modest over here and stuff like that. But no, seriously, I always tell people this: it is your strength that has conquered. So I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. I know it's a relief, but yeah, so it's just like mostly just like noises you hear in a different room. Maybe like once a week, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks now. So it doesn't happen as much. Everything's a lot better, but there's I don't know if you want me to tell one more or if there's other people waiting.
I think we do have one person waiting, but let's see. Harry, did you click by accident, or do you want to just come up and hang out, or let's see if Harry's still here. Um, Harry's one of our regulars, so he just comes up to hang out with us. In which case I can just bring him up real quick.
Cat Mama, I thought I was there. Where did you go?
I think she's
Okay,
been here.
Harry.
Harry's there.
Harry, did you want me to just bring you up and you can hang out with us for a second?
Come on down.
I'll just bring you up.
It's like the Lost Boys. Join us, Harry.
Yeah. And it looks like he may not connect anyway. Well, okay. Oh, there he is. Okay,
Can you hear me?
Ashley. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Ashley, if you want to go ahead and share one more of your stories, we'd appreciate it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make it quick. And then I have more too, so I'll come back on another. Well, you'll be on tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, we're going back to our regular schedule tomorrow.
Okay. Um so I started seeing around the age of 24, I started seeing these black shadows. and they would mimic and look like a person I knew. 'Cause you know how you can tell like the way the person's like body shape is, the way they talk. I mean, not the way they talk, the way they walk, you know, um, stuff like that. So I was at work one day, and it's real weird because where I used to work at, my daughter's dad's side of the family, like 10 people used to work there. So I used to work with all of them. And I was talking to her grandpa that worked there, and he walked away after we were done talking, and then about 15 seconds later I seen a and it was like the first black shadow person I had seen walk the same direction, the same path, walk just like him, and like following him. But, it was 15 seconds later, so he wasn't right behind him. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then 2 weeks later, what I was doing was my daughter was about, uh, uh, probably about 4 years old. I would drop her off at her dad's house. Her dad lived with his mom and the grandpa that I was talking to. And I would drop her off at the house in the morning, and he would get her ready to go to school, and I would go to work. And when I pulled in the driveway, the ambulance was there. He had like a massive heart attack, and um I guess my daughter's dad ended up like hitting him. I don't know why he did it, but I guess it's good that he did it, 'cause it like brought him back. He hit him really hard on the chest, like really, really hard one time, and he had fallen in the bathroom. Well, he had a major heart attack, and he wasn't breathing, and there was no heartbeat. And the left side of his heart ended up completely not working anymore. So he had to get this machine called an LVAD machine to make it the left side of his heart pump. And so he was really, really close to being not with us anymore. So I thought that was really weird. And then, but I didn't say anything to anybody. And then my neighbor in my backyard, I seen a shadow person that looked just like her. And this is the first time that I got a really, really, really good glimpse at it. And it was so solid black. I could not see through it. And at that time, I have never heard of a shadow person. I never heard anybody talk about it, never knew anything about it. And I'm like, what am I seeing? And 2 weeks later, this lady was no longer with us. And so then I was like thinking, okay, I think I see a pattern here. So I told my best friend, and she's like, if you ever see anything like that with me, please tell me. So, and we worked together, and over where she was doing her job, part of her job at, I seen a black shadow person just looking like her, walking like her, moving like her, like in that area. And so I told her, I was like, hey, I know I don't want to tell you this, but you wanted me to tell you. I said, I just want you to be careful. Like, be very, very careful everything you do. I don't want to scare you, but you made me promise me that I would tell you. I don't know what happened to her, but she ended up being okay. But she ended up not being able to breathe, and she collapsed in that area 2 weeks later that I had seen that. And the ambulance came and got her. She was okay. Turns out that she had Gatorade in her refrigerator. She hadn't been feeling good. Um, and her husband was always bringing her Gatorade to her and opening it for her. But she got home one day after this had happened and she got herself her own Gatorade this time and found out that all the Gatorades had been opened. So we think that he was putting something in there, but we don't know what. So she left him and moved out of state secretly, like without him knowing while he was at work. Moved back to Alabama where she's from. So, but I mean, like she survived that. And then I'm not sure if that happened again, if I saw that. That might have been only like 3 times. I think there's a fourth, but I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, the that's all I have to share for right now. But that happened back like around, I don't know, probably like 16 years ago. So I don't know. Yeah, I forgot. See, I forgot my train of thought. That hasn't happened since. So, but yeah, that's all I have to share for right now because I can't think of anything else and I really want to go home because I'm so tired because I've been out since 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming up and sharing all that with us.
Yeah, no problem. And when I'll be thinking of my other stories and I'll have them ready for next time.
Yeah.
Alrighty, sounds good.
All right. Well, you can drop me. I'll still be listening.
Alrighty, thanks
Thank
again.
you.
All right. Bye.
Hello, Harry.
Howdy, howdy.
What's going on? Are your shadow ghosts acting up?
Uh, I've saw a couple tonight, but nothing to really shout out about.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I hit the button to come up.
Oh, really?
Actually, I had my phone setting off to the side. My hand was nowhere near it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that
weird.
happens sometimes. Yeah. Well, maybe
I
the
think.
shadow ghost wanted you to come up, though.
Yeah.
Maybe. Although, my dog did charge the door again for some reason. And after she did, I backed her off and I looked out and there was nothing around. No cat, no nothing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something out and about.
Yeah, I'd say so. Kind of sounds like it. So Chris, what do you think? Should we call it for the night? It's definitely a slow night. I think this is, yeah, this is probably just a typical Saturday night. I don't think that it's going to get too wild or crazy in here. So,
Um, I mean, we can, and we can go mess around on the Discord. Even though it was a slow night, I still had fun. I still enjoyed the stories, and I really liked that picture that person came up and showed us. So I thought it was
yeah,
fun.
for sure. Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Well, real quick before you all go, we are going back to our regular schedule. The marathon week is over, unfortunately. So we will be on tomorrow night because our normal schedule is Sunday and Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
So we'll be back tomorrow night for more spooky ghost stories. Usually is pretty busy on Sunday and Monday nights. I think those are definitely the best nights. So also we do have a subscription here on the screen. If you hit the little gold star, you can subscribe to the channel. I think there's like a coupon right now or like a sale or something. The price is a little lower than normal, but it's already extremely low. It's the lowest tier price on TikTok. So with that, you get immediate access to the Discord, which is where we're all going after this stream. We're all going to go hang out in the Discord and have a really good time and just like hang out and chat and do like a little mini live stream. Um, Be sure to follow me, turn on post notifications and live notifications so that you get notified when I go live. Also, check out Ollie, Chris, and Harry. Send them a follow, check out their content. And we will be back here tomorrow. So we'll see you all tomorrow for some more spooky stories.
Have a
Good
good night.
night, guys.